Good evening, everybody, and welcome back once again to Avenger Pretenders. That's right, we are here to destroy your Monday night, or actually make it a little better, whichever it happens to be. Tonight, my friends, we review the one-off episode, as I like to call it, called Werewolf by Night. Very, very cool show. Check it out. Make sure you have your adult beverage or whatever it is that you want to drink, as well as your snacks, because it's time for the Geek and the Redneck, Sully and me, to blab a little bit. Sully, it's all yours, buddy.
Oh, I thank you. Thank you. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Oh, my camera's just a little too high. That's all good. We'll fix that. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Avenger Pretenders. I'm Sully, broadcasting live, as always, from our wonderful abode below everything. You thought we were done with Marvel for now, but no, sir. No, ma'am. No, he, she, it, thing, whatever. We're here. With a very special edition of Werewolf by Night.
How'd you like my howl?
I loved the howl. It was, I thought it was fitting. I thought it was fitting. I'm just putting it out there.
Oh, werewolf howl. Come on.
I agree. So, come on in, have some fun with us. You guys, if you haven't watched it yet, why not? It's only 55 minutes. It was not long. Okay.
Put it this way. If they haven't watched it yet, it's probably because they're like me, and it's not really their thing.
Yeah, probably.
I will look you straight in the face, and I will tell you this. You will enjoy it.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that bad. It was actually pretty good.
It's a little weird. It's a little strange. But hell, you watch us on Tuesdays, so you're used to that.
Also true.
So go check it out. Werewolf by Night on Disney Plus. By the way, Disney Plus does not sponsor this show, but It would be freaking awesome.
It would
if they did.
It would be awesome. Nicole is saying hi. She says, getting the Halloween laugh ready. It's always ready. So, spoilers ahead, folks. Spoilers ahead. Oh, yes. Because it's time. We're going to break down the entire 55-minute special. I mean, it really was not that long of an episode, and they brought in some pretty cool characters from the comic books into the main MCU now, which is awesome sauce.
Well, what I really liked about it was, and I figured out why they did it afterwards, or shortly afterwards. But I like if you think back to the days when we were kids.
Yes.
Okay. And like whenever, like one of the Charlie Brown specials, or whenever they had some kind of a special going on, the channel always did the special presentation screen.
Oh yeah. What was it? CBS, right? CBS usually did that.
All of them did it. CBS, NBC, ABC, all three of them did it. They all had different ones, but they always had something, this is a special presentation. I loved the fact that they did that at the beginning of this.
Yes.
And I think there's a very specific reason why they did it. And I think I know what it is. And once we get started, I will tell you what my thought is on why they did it.
Okay. I mean, my thought was, what was it? The word special always came across the screen or something like that, right? If I remember correctly, where right before the start of the show, you'd get like that really cheesy 70s/80s intro music, right? I think I actually might have found it because this was something, yeah, obviously, no disrespect, they're stealing things from CBS or ABC or whoever it was. I'm pretty sure it was CBS where it was the special presentation. But
Right.
but here you go. It would do that spin. A CBS special presentation. but that's what it did. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that they opened with that. Because let's face it, that was just reminiscence of
Nostalgic.
Yeah, very nostalgic.
Yes.
Very nostalgic. So, like I say, guys, if you haven't watched it yet, go and watch it. I would say it's pretty decent for a Halloween type special for the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Wasn't a lot of gore.
No, wasn't a lot of gore.
Wasn't a lot of blood and guts being splattered all over the place like would normally happen.
But they actually did that
in this kind of show
way. Because this was rated TV-14.
Right.
So we got a little bit of a higher rating when it comes to the Marvel specials.
I didn't know there was a TV-14.
Yeah, it's kind of like rated R.
Never heard of that.
Kind of like rated R for TV. But I thought it was really cool. And if, again, Werewolf by Night, this story, obviously it's right from the comics. Very good adaptation of it, where we're bringing in Ulysses Bloodstone. The story follows Ulysses Bloodstone's death. He died. If you don't know who Ulysses Bloodstone is, in the Marvel comics, he is he's kind of like your Van Helsing. He's your monster hunter. Okay?
There you go.
He has the power of the Bloodstone. And I have a feeling that the Bloodstone itself is going to be playing a very pivotal role in these next phases for Marvel. Obviously, we'll know more once Wakanda Forever comes out, and we'll be able to move on from there. But he died, and it's now time for the Bloodstone to have a new master. So, what better way than to have all the people who hunt and kill monsters come into one big building, also known as the Bloodstone Manor, and try to kill the biggest, most powerful beast out there.
Right. Now here's just a quick side note here. This is why I love the special presentation thing, because this whole thing, until the very end, is in black and white.
Yes. Oh, which was wonderful.
So, I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much if it would have been in color.
You don't think so?
I really don't. I think I still would have enjoyed it, but I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much. Because, I mean, and also understand, for those who don't know, this isn't my thing. I'm not all about the vampires and werewolves and all that kind of stuff. It's just not my thing. But I really enjoyed this show, and I think I enjoyed it more because
I made you watch it.
Well, that's why I watched it. That's not why I enjoyed it.
I made him watch it, folks. I made him watch it.
Just like you did Moon Knight. But if you think about it, okay, most of the movies, when movies like this were being made,
yes,
back in the late 70s, early 80s, maybe a little bit, maybe late 60s time frame.
Yep.
It was all being done in black and white.
Yep, absolutely.
And even Nikaya says the black and white gave it kind of a 50s cheesy feeling, but still good.
Monster Mash.
Yeah. Exactly, like the old Addams Family. The old Addams Family series was done in black and white for the longest time.
The Munsters.
Yeah, them too.
The Munsters.
So it kind of put it into that category, But the enjoyment factor for me, I think, was higher because it was black and white, because it was really, I guess you could kind of say, era specific.
Yes.
By doing that. So it kind of took you back to that time frame where they didn't have cell phones and electronics and all this other stuff.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that one.
So, I thought it was really good that they did that.
Yes.
I really did.
Well, and the other reason that they did that was more for the potential of gore. Because let's face it, you can't have a title like Werewolf by Night without blood.
A little bit, at least a little bit.
Somehow. And there have been some gory scenes in Marvel movies. So in a lot of ways, this was a great way to kind of hide the blood aspect of things.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get into it, trust me. Because like JT said, the entire show is black and white until the end. Mm-hmm. So we follow, it's the death of Ulysses Bloodstone. They're at his funeral, if you want to call it that. His funeral. And we bring in 5 experienced monster hunters. Jack Russell being one of them. See what we did there? Jack Russell, get it? Get it?
See, now I'm thinking of a dog.
Well, but that should have been your clue to who was going to be the werewolf. Because, let's face it, you can't have Werewolf by Night without the werewolf. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
So, Jack Russell is the werewolf. We know he's the werewolf. Well, at least I knew he was the werewolf.
I didn't.
So for me being the comic book nerd that I am, clearly I knew it was him. And they're all summoned by Ulysses' widow, Verussa. And
Bitch.
yeah, Verussa is the one who has said, Ulysses has died and we need a new owner to the Bloodstone. Because someone needs to lead the monster hunters to kill the monsters.
Right. And the thing that got me was this is tradition.
Yes, tradition.
This is things that have been handed down for, I have no idea how many generations that this has
since
happened
Dracula
before.
himself. Since Dracula himself.
Okay. And so way back when.
Yeah, way back in the day. Again, they're Van Helsing. They're basically Van Helsing.
Right.
So we fast forward. They're all at the manor, and Verussa's in the room saying, "Welcome, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome." And then her daughter Elsa shows up, even though she wasn't even invited. But she hates her mother. Well, her stepmother, anyway.
And I think it goes both ways.
And it goes both ways. Absolutely. And, they decide that the person who defeats the beast will be the caretaker of the Bloodstone.
Well, I love how it's presented.
Yes.
I love how what is going to happen tonight was presented, because what's his name?
Ulysses Bloodstone.
His Ulysses Bloodstone's coffin, casket, whatever you want to call it, was right there, smack dead center of the room.
Yes.
And, the other cool thing to me was, as Jack was walking into the room, he's looking around and you're seeing, you'd think you were in a hunter's cabin, because, all the prize trophy heads
Oh, yeah.
were on the wall. You
All
had
monsters.
there was at least 6 different trophy heads up on the wall that I counted, probably more. But in order to present the plan of how this special event is going to happen, the old butler,
Oh my God, the butler.
he sticks this thing into the side of the casket that the old style car jacks. They had that little turn handle thing.
I was going to refer to it as a jack in the box.
Well, kind of like that, or it's kind of like the thing that they used to use to start the old Model Ts,
Yeah.
But he had to crank this thing open, and as he's cranking it, the doors or the cover, the top, whatever you want to call it, of the casket open up, and you see Ulysses Bloodstone.
Dead as a door.
And all of a sudden, it goes into what was it? The old dead skeleton guy that used to introduce all of the horror movies and everything.
The Crypt Keeper.
He was the Crypt Keeper. Yes.
Yeah. Crypt Keeper.
That's what it made me think of. Because all of a sudden the hands come up and the mouth starts talking and all this stuff, and he tells them, the bloodstone is going to be attached to a monster, which, is going to piss him off even more. And whoever kills the monster and recovers the bloodstone will be the new leader.
Yes.
But he, it's got all these robotic animated movements and everything. I'm like, oh my God, this animatronics, exactly. It was like the animatronics that you see in Chuck E. Cheese back in the 70s and 80s,
I am Zoltar.
All stiff and, no. I laughed my ass off inside at that
Zoltar.
part of it. It was hilarious. It was hilarious.
Let me tell your fortune.
I actually had to rewind it and rewatch it because I really missed what he said because I was laughing so hard.
See, that's when you're watching a good show, Yeah,
and that's why I say, it's not my thing, but I did enjoy it. So. But I thought it was interesting how the rules of the game were presented in the fashion that it was done. I thought that was pretty cool.
It was like, crank the jack in the box, crank the jack in the box.
Just not no boing.
So from there, most of the show is the hunt. I mean, really, I would say that was the slowest part, was bringing everybody up to speed. Ulysses Bloodstone was alive. He's a monster hunter. He's the caretaker of this artifact in the Marvel Universe, and he died, and now he needs to pass it on. Well,
the maze kind of threw me.
Well, before you even do the maze, the fact that they basically had to theoretically draw straws.
Yeah. And what was it that they, because first they put something in one thing, and then they drew they drew their straw, or they drew their tile, I guess would be the word for it.
And Jack got his first. He pulled the first number, and he was number 1, and they made him go first and do what he needed to do. And while he was doing that, and actually, before the hunt even started, they were comparing all of their kills.
Mm-hmm. They listed the number of kills for each person. They
listed each person and how many kills they had, and so on and so forth. And when they get to Jack, it's over 100. Mm-hmm. And they're like, over 100 kills? Holy crap. I can't believe you did that. That's amazing. I wish I could be like a hunter like you.
There is the big Irish guy.
Scottish guy.
I'm sorry, Scottish guy.
Damn it.
I caught myself and corrected it. Shut up.
The Irish you can understand. The Scottish you can't.
If there's any Scottish folks out there, I apologize.
I don't.
But I loved it when the Scottish guy looked down and saw that Jack had the tile that sent him in first, and he goes, "Oh, you lucky son of a bitch."
Yeah. Well, because he had first pick. But
Yeah.
but what they don't tell you until the fight starts is it's every man for himself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There was like it was almost like a funeral, a New Orleans funeral procession, as Jack headed for the door to enter into the stadium. I'll call it,
Yep.
with the guy with the tuba that was flaming at the top of it. You know, I had flashes to The Simpsons or Family Guy because they've both done things with tubas. You know, but that was just kind of weird to me as he's walking and he's blowing into this tuba and the flames are, when he blows into it. That was just kind of weird. Really weird for me.
And the fight begins.
Right.
Let's get ready to rumble.
I wish that would have been funny if they did that.
So, as Jack is walking in, the camera kind of just goes up and it reveals that it's a huge maze at Bloodstone Manor. This huge maze.
Right. And the way that they talked about it, I thought it was going to be a big forest or something.
Yeah, that was my thought too.
When you get onto the grounds, when you say the grounds, what do you think of?
I think
big
hills,
wooded area, that
plains,
with,
trees,
decorative hedges and stuff like that. Not
little deer,
freaking crazy ass maze.
Little deer prancing around and rabbits and cute little things.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Until
not here. Yeah.
Until Jack comes in contact with Elsa and doesn't fight her at all.
He's like, I think we should just pass right on by
Let's
each other.
just walk right on by each other. And she's like, what?
What the hell are you talking about, man?
Like, what are you doing here? Well, the other rule is they went in with no weapons. The only weapons they can use is what is in the maze.
Mm-hmm.
And every man for themselves, which means a hunter can kill a hunter. And boy, are they violent. Especially that Scottish bastard.
Well, and it also saves Jack's life right then and there.
Yes.
At that point where he's like, "Oh, we should just walk by," and she's like, "Boop."
Yes, absolutely. So after that encounter, our Scottish friend and Elsa end up fighting, and both Jack and Elsa they run away. They run away. They go.
He grabs the axe that he had.
Yeah, she grabs the axe, goes one way, Jack goes another, and he gets to the point where he's up against some bushes, and a hand just comes out and grabs him and just holds him. And this, my friends, is where I got excited. Because the minute I saw that hand come out, I went, those sons of bitches did it again. Because it wouldn't be a Marvel movie without a twist.
Right.
And the twist was none other than Ted. Now you're probably saying to yourself, well, who the hell is Ted?
Sully, could you tell us who Ted is?
I certainly can.
Well, thank you very much.
Ted, also known as Dr. Theodore Salas, was a doctor in the Marvel Comics that was working on recreating the Super Soldier Serum, also known as Captain America's Super Soldier Serum. And it went a little wrong. And he became Man-Thing. Dun, dun, dun.
Nikaya says he seems like a nice enough bloke.
He is a nice bloke. He really is.
Until you piss him off.
Yes, yeah, well, yeah, until you piss him off, and then he'll fire your brains out.
Don't piss him off, folks. I'm telling you.
So this to me, this was actually a very well kept hidden Easter egg, and a great way to bring in a new character who not only was an Avenger, but he was also a Thunderbolt. Hello, we have a movie coming. Just saying.
Nikaya wants to borrow Ted.
Good old Ted. Well,
yeah, Nikaya. Then you could kind of do like in The Simpsons when they bring Gollum to life.
Well, yeah. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. So here's just some of the groups that Man-Thing has been associated with: Nexus of All Realities, A Clue, Midnight Suns, another Clue, Thunderbolts, The Daydreamers, Legion of Monsters, Avengers of the Supernatural, Ancient Order of the Shield, and Stake. Which we haven't seen much of Stake yet. We're only being introduced to Sword at the moment.
Actually, I had steak last night.
Nope, different Stake.
Okay.
Different Stake. This one is Special Threat Assessment of Known Extranormalities, also known as Ghost Rider, and other things like that.
Nikaya screams,
wink.
Midnight Suns.
Midnight Suns, yeah, exactly. So, which, if you think about it, is also a great way, and this may happen eventually. Blade.
Okay. Yeah, Wesley Snipes.
Blade. Well, not anymore.
Used to be, yeah.
Used to be. But we may see Blade. We may see Ghost Rider. We may see more of the supernatural type of heroes and anti-heroes starting to come about now because we got Man-Thing.
Right, and that's kind of what it seems like. It kind of seems that they're going in that direction, introducing all these, I don't want to say secondary characters, but
they are.
They kind of are.
They are. You know,
well, I don't want to.
Man-Thing had a movie out in 2005, and it bombed horribly.
It was worse than the bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki together.
Yeah, well, pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah. But the other thing is, and we've already seen this character, Howard the Duck. Man-Thing and Howard the Duck were partners.
Don't tell me Howard the Duck is going to be introduced into the Marvel.
He already
universe. Is he?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Guardians of the Galaxy, the second one, Volume 2. We may see him in Volume 3, and we saw him in Endgame.
Yeah.
Walking out a portal, holding a big-ass gun.
All I can say is...
Bring on Howard the Duck and Man-Thing. I think it'll be great.
Nikaya says that she still has the Midnight Suns comic books.
Oh, very nice. Very cool.
Those might be worth a pretty penny there, Miss Nikaya.
They're coming. They're coming. I'm telling you. Listen, I've been saying it for quite some time. And for us nerds, geeks, comic book lovers, the works, this is the greatest time for us to be around. Because we're getting these movies, we're getting these TV shows. They wouldn't have been able to do that back in the 80s. Not even 80s, the 90s. Right. They wouldn't even been able to. Yes, Blade is a great example of paving the way because let's face it, Blade really brought the comic books to the screen for Marvel than anything.
Right.
DC already had Superman and Batman. Then you got the X-Men. Then you got Spider-Man. You had they all started coming out and being good, some not so good.
Right.
But it worked. So in this case, we now have Ted. Man-Thing. He's out. He's there. You don't understand him because you can't understand him, but Jack understands him. And that's all that needs to know. So
it's the 70s version of Groot.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Why do I always do this comparison? Why do I do that? I've noticed that lately.
Because it's Groot. He's lovable. He's cute and adorable. I mean, you can't really go wrong with Groot.
Right.
You know, just saying. Just putting it out there. So there's still battles going on. A lot of the hunters are still going after Ted. Ted's on the run. He's in hiding. He's doing what he needs to do. He still has the bloodstone attached to his back. And Jack runs into Elsa, and they get cornered in the family tomb. And they decide to come up with an escape plan for Ted.
Well, they get locked in, not just cornered, but they get locked in the family tomb.
Yep.
Because of Jack.
Well, I mean, you know, somebody was chasing him and trying to kill him. I get it.
Yeah, totally understandable, you know, but also then they're going, no, click. You just saw that like a pie. Yeah.
Don't close the door.
Now, how did she get out? I thought this was really cool.
So, yeah, I thought this was really cool also. So while they've come up with this alliance to get Ted out of the maze and free, he flat out said, listen, you can have the bloodstone. I don't care. I don't need it. I don't want it. I'm here to get Ted out. And she decides to start climbing the tomb to one of her crazy aunts.
That's what they called her.
So she broke into that catacomb.
Let's see if I can find them.
And starts pulling out body parts. Starts pulling out bones. And she finally says that she was buried because she would be the crazy one to get herself locked in here, buried with her own way out, and pulls out a key. And that key was able to open the doors. So from there, they agree they're going to work together. They're going to get out. And Ted catches up with one of the hunters. And, oh boy, you just see two hands wrap around a head in a bright light, and that guy got fried.
It was almost like he was getting it, with the way they presented it. It kind of looked like he was getting electrocuted.
He got cooked.
You know, either way, he got cooked.
He got a little roasty toasty is what he got. Little roasty toasty. I mean, you know, little charcoal on the outside.
Right.
I'm sure the meat was well done on the inside. Just a little roasty toasty.
Well, they get to the point where even though he kills one of the hunters, they get the bloodstone off of Ted by using what was it? It was like a special hook that they used in order to grab it.
She had this thing on a chain that she threw at, kind of like a whip that she threw at it, and it had clamps on both sides. It clamped onto both sides of the bloodstone.
You know what it reminded me of? You know those claws that you can get with the handle, and you squeeze the handle and the claw closes to pick stuff up?
Yeah, I use them all the time, little grabbers.
Yeah, it's kind of like what it reminded me of. Only much more Renaissance-y.
More 70s-ish.
Yeah. Lady Death says she wants that weapon. No, you're not allowed to have that weapon. No.
Right.
Just like there's a reason my wife is not allowed to have a taser. No.
I would trust Nakia with that weapon because even though she has them, and even though she would be incredibly tempted to use said item,
yes,
she would be able to control herself. Barely, but she would be able to control herself so that she didn't use it. And she says that she's sending Christy a stun gun.
No. No. N-O. I have spoken. And this is, and I say the same exact thing to her. She's like, come on. No.
Don't make me put my foot down.
See, okay, so this is the difference. Lady Death just says, I haven't shot anyone. My wife will. My wife will. It'll be bad. No. Not happening. Sorry. Come again next time. No. You're funny. You have spoken. Yes. As former military and son of cop, no.
Just like Homer says, don't make me put my foot down, Marge.
Don't do it.
Make me do it. It's ready to come down.
So they get the bloodstone off of Ted and it falls to the floor. They blow a hole in the wall and Ted escapes. Okay. Great. He's heading off into the forest and Jack picks up the bloodstone, only it reacts very violently to him and sends him flying.
That made me wonder, but the question, I'm like, why did it do that?
Yeah.
But that question was answered very, very quickly.
Very quickly, because
very, very quickly.
Because he picked it up and it caused that reaction, it called all the other monster hunters to their location.
Nakia says, and gets knocked on his ass.
Oh, he went flying.
He flew a good 5, 6, 7 foot.
He was like, wee, Wendy, I can fly.
Well, actually, probably about 10 feet.
Wendy, I can fly. Don't.
Yeah. I don't like flying that way, but I can fly.
It's fun. Yay.
Well.
Hey, y'all, hold my beer. Watch this.
It turns out the reason it acted so violently is because this monster hunter was, in fact, a monster.
A monster himself.
Yes, monster himself. And
things that make you go, huh?
Verussa decides, well, I'm capturing you and her. So she puts Elsa and Jack into a holding cell in the main lobby that they were in before the hunt began.
They put them in a cage. Looked like a giant bird cage.
Well,
when they showed it from a distance, it looked like a giant bird cage, Yeah.
Lady Death says, I thought it did that because he wasn't the one who took it off. Elsa did, so it would only respond to Elsa. No. So the way the Bloodstone works, not just in this, but in the Marvel Comics, is if you are some type of monster and you pick it up, it will automatically reject you because you are a monster. Only a human or a superpowered human can hold that.
Right.
So if you're a werewolf, you're a vampire, a mummy. I don't know if Man-Thing can hold it or not. He might be able to because he was human and then turned into a mutate.
But so was Jack.
Right, but he's more on the supernatural side, and this is more of a supernatural artifact than anything.
I got you.
You know, it's not like it's not like the Power Stone where if you're holding the Power Stone, it's going to tear you apart unless you put it on something to hold it and wield it and use that power. So
thus the glove.
Right, that's the Infinity Gauntlet. In Guardians of the Galaxy, when Ronan put it on his hammer, he had something to harness the power and use it to his advantage because it wouldn't rip him apart. Unlike Peter Quill, who is half celestial, he can hold it, no problem, because he's a celestial. This is a celestial artifact. This is more on the supernatural side, kind of like garlic to a vampire.
Okay.
You
Makes sense.
You don't touch the garlic, Same rules kind of apply to this. So any type of vampire, like Blade would not be able to hold it. Well, actually he might. He might be able to hold it only because
I think he would.
He's half human, half vampire. So
Right.
that's a little different because he is technically a day walker. But
Yeah, it all depends on if the bloodstone detects it or not.
right, exactly. So in this case, he can't hold it at all. It's not happening. So while he's in the cage with Elsa, Elsa's afraid. Because apparently the bloodstone can bring out anybody disguised as a human to their monster form on a command. So for Jack's situation, he's a werewolf. No, I still got 3 days. And Elsa's scared and's like, no, you're going to kill me. Because they're going to make you into a vampire and into a werewolf. And if they make you
Love
into
what he does.
Yeah, and if they make you into a werewolf, you're going to rip my head off.
Yeah, exactly. And if you think about it, okay, werewolves are descendants, kind of dogs.
Yes.
Okay, dogs are descendants of wolves and blah 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 and all that good stuff. So I was kind of like, what in the hell is he doing? Just like she was when he grabs her, pulls her close, and starts
Right?
sniffing her.
Well, it was great.
And
He sniffs, assaults her.
yeah, and she's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And he looks at her and goes, "I have to remember you.
Yeah.
I have to have your scent in my brain
Yep.
when I turn into the werewolf in order for me to maybe not kill you."
Yeah.
Which to me was, ooh, what a twist. Interesting.
Hello.
There is the twists inside the twists.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Can you do that?
What the twist?
What a beast! Again! I thought that was really cool how they did that, though.
It was. Excuse me. So he sniffs her hair, her clothes, like anything to get that scent
Her
on.
arm.
Yeah, like
Her arm where he could really smell her skin, get her scent.
Most people would probably cry for help. He sniffed me. He what? Sniffed me.
Well, it's kind of like when you walk up to a strange dog, you don't just reach out to them. You
Sniff
present
their
your
ass.
hand. You present your hand to them,
Yes.
so that they can smell you, and by them being able to do that, they are able to tell if you're a threat to them or not.
Exactly. And that's,
Basically,
and that's the other thing that it was okay. They're adding their own little twist to this, which is good.
right?
So, excuse me, Verussa uses the Bloodstone, changes him to a werewolf. I love how they did this for multiple reasons. Reason number one was I loved how they showed the transition from human to werewolf as a shadow on the wall.
Again, very 70-ish,
Right.
the old time, 50, 60, 70-ish, old time horror movies and things like that.
Because let's face it, the technology is there to show transitioning from human to werewolf. It's there. We
They
have it.
proved
We've
it in
seen
She-Hulk.
They did it in She-Hulk. They did it in so many different things. Okay.
Right.
But even before that, Harry Potter, as they did it in, stuff like that in Star Trek, that transition, American Werewolf in London, American Werewolf in Paris, like all these films that use the old puppetry face transition, and it worked.
Yeah.
But back in the day when everything was black and white, they couldn't show that because that was technically too risque for TV or for film at the time. At the time.
Right.
So going old school and showing that silhouette transition, I thought was amazing. I really did. I thought it was amazing. And then when they show him breaking out of the cage, they never actually show him breaking out. They just pan the camera up, and there's smoke, and they've tased him, and they've done whatever to him, and there's a hole in the top. He's out.
Yeah, I mean, I won't say that they showed him jump, but you kind of got the idea that he did from the shadows because it was all smoky.
Yes.
It was all smoky and kind of inside foggish, I guess you could say. When he does this, so you can kind of tell that he jumps.
Yes.
But you're not sure until the smoke clears and all they see in the cage is Elsa, and they pan up and you see these bars just bent out.
Yeah. And I liked it because it was old school.
Well, Nakaya just said they even made him in the old style of the 60s cheesy werewolf.
So yes and no.
It was cheesy, but it was cool.
Yes, it was.
It's the things that they've been able to do. I mean, between this show and She-Hulk, the things that they've been able to do with the way they're presenting things,
yes,
in my opinion, has progressed hundreds of times from recent shows of what they've done. And I really, really hope that they continue this in the upcoming shows and movies with the way that they're presenting these things, because they're presenting them a lot better than they used to.
Oh yeah, hands down. And I think a lot of that also comes down to the director, to be honest, because the director has that vision of what they want to see.
Yeah, Kevin Feige has done a lot.
He really has as producer and
Now, how scary is it? Just the fact that I know a producer's name now or a director's name now. I mean, that in itself is a Halloween scare from hell.
Yeah. Now this is just one of the stills from the episode. I mean, to be honest, I thought his outfit looked great.
Yeah.
The way
now, Nakaya did say, I'm not downplaying it. I thought it was great with the simplicity of it.
Oh, absolutely.
She just said it's very impressive.
Hands down.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down. So, and it worked.
Yeah, definitely worked.
Could you make him more like a werewolf face? Yeah, probably. But it worked. Yeah, why would you want to? Where it works perfectly like that.
Yeah, it was I think with the feel that they were going for in this, I think they nailed it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because it does feel like they were going for that 50s, 60s, 70s horror movie kind of feel to this show. Oh, yeah. And they definitely hit it. They hit it right on the head of the nail.
Nailed it. So from there, a lot of people die.
Now, let me ask a question here. We might have to backtrack a little bit. Didn't they already get Ted out? Ted was already out at this point because they did it. just before they got caught.
Yep, Ted was already out and good to go. You know.
Yeah, they blew the wall, and here come Elsa and Ted running around the corner, and gone.
Yep. Nope. He was already out. He was already out of the maze. He was already into the woods and doing what he needed to do. He was gone. So from there, soldiers are coming in. The hunters are attacking. Jack, and Elsa is climbing out of the cage. She is now on his side and fighting and doing whatever they need to. And it gets to the point where you think that Jack is going to be overrun, and he's not. He's just taking out people left and right. And this is where the gore comes in. There were a lot of situations where there was blood splatter.
Right.
There were arms getting cut off, heads getting cut off. But the beauty of the black and white is you don't see it.
Right. I mean, up until that point, the only blood and gore part that had been presented was when Elsa chopped off the Oriental gentleman's hand, or lower arm, because he had the mini crossbow, a wrist mounted crossbow.
Yeah.
But before, I mean, that was the only real gore up to that point in the show.
Yeah. So
but it gets gory quick.
At that point, though, once Jack and Elsa have dispatched all the soldiers, Elsa tries to talk to Jack. And he charges and pounces on her, ready to kill her.
But then he catches her scent.
But she calls out to him again, and he catches her scent and doesn't do anything. He lets her go.
And then
she does what the love interest would do. I'm dying type of thing, and just touch the side of the face. Like,
it's kind of like what's her name trying to calm down the Hulk.
Sun's getting real low.
Sun's getting real low. When she's stroking his hand and that kind of thing to get him to
lullaby,
calm down, and her doing that and touching the side of his face really sinks in as to who and what she is, and that she's on his side.
Exactly.
And there was the eye contact. That was one thing he was very specific about, was that you have to look me directly in the eyes.
Yep.
That was one of the things that he told her that I forgot about.
Yep. So from there, after sparing her, he runs off. Never to be seen. And it comes down to basically Elsa and Verussa. Verussa tries to kill Elsa and fails miserably because Ted comes crashing in and fries Verussa, killing her instantly.
They got in the fight, and she ends up coming over with an old Pilgrim-style freaking shotgun.
Yeah.
And she's about to blow Elsa away, and here comes Ted crashing through the roof and frying her. And I love what he just kind of tosses her off to the side, and where does she land?
Oh, right. Yeah, right in the...
Right on top of Ulysses Bloodsport's coffin.
Bloodsport. Right on the casket.
Whatever his name is.
Bloodstone.
Stone. I was close.
You were.
Nikai says,
Ted. Ted came back. Yay.
Yay for Ted.
So, as Ted's standing there, he's looking at Elsa, and Elsa's like, what? Oh, he went that way. And Ted just walks out the door.
Okay, bye-bye.
And then of course we see Elsa sitting there with holding the bloodstone, and we transition from black and white to color.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the whole time, the only thing that was in color was the bloodstone. That's it. It's the only thing that was in color. Everything else was black and white, so they transitioned from the black to white to color to kind of signify that the old ways are gone Elsa is now the new caretaker of the Bloodstone. So she's going to get super strength. She's going to get long-lasting life. The works, okay? And we start seeing some credits. They do the credits, and then we see a post-credit scene with Ted and Jack, and how Jack is, now transformed back to human form. And Ted flat out says, I watched over you this time.
I saved you this time.
I saved you. And he goes, yeah, that's supposed to be reversed. I'm supposed to be helping you.
Yeah.
And he asks if she's safe, and Ted says, yeah, Elsa's okay. And then it's over. It goes back into the regular credits, and the credits roll. So we've got at least I would say, a pretty decent hour-long special for Halloween with Marvel characters, and I thought it was pretty damn good.
Well, I liked how Jack and Ted had the little conversation there at the end, because the impression that I got,
Yep.
After the, I saved you, yeah, it's usually me saving you, and Ted says something to Jack, and Jack kind of does that embarrassed, stammering, kind of thing, where I think, in my opinion, what Ted said was, so, you got a thing for Elsa, huh?
Yeah. You got the hots for her, don't ya? Don't ya?
Well, I mean, that would be a very interesting relationship if you think about it.
Hey, anything's possible, man. Anything's possible.
The leader of the monster hunters
Yes.
in a serious relationship with a freaking werewolf.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, it would be one of those
It worked in Underworld.
Kind of a strange bedfellows kind of thing, lying, sleeping with sheep, or sleeping with sheep and all that kind of stuff,
Very true. Very, very true. Clearly, we've got some Easter eggs, though.
Of course we do. It's Marvel.
All right.
To not have Easter eggs is to not have a Marvel show.
Exactly. Obviously, the first the first Easter egg is the intro, the Marvel intro, where it was all in black and white, and the theme music was more of a spooky, like old school monster movie type theme to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was still the Marvel theme. A lady that's got to go. Hey, thanks. We'll see you tomorrow. Appreciate it. Tell Dad we say hi. Hope he's feeling better.
Bye, Gaia!
One of the other thing, and I don't know if you noticed it, but did you notice the cigarette burns? The look on your face says it all.
I'm trying. Where were these at?
So the cigarette burns are, and if you've never seen Fight Club, folks, they explain this. Cigarette burns happen up in the top right corner of the screen. That's to let the projectionist know that you need to switch out the reels.
Ah.
And if you notice, every 15 to 20 minutes, a cigarette burn would pop up in the corner.
I did not see that at all.
I know. I'm like, oh, them sons of bitches. And I mean, it's quick. It's a frame. That's it. That's all it is. It's
right.
You see it, and then it's gone.
Interesting.
There was also a reference to Gore the God Butcher.
Mm-hmm.
And Gore, if you didn't see Thor: Love and Thunder, Christian Bale portrayed him in Thor. But as they're walking down the hallway, you can see Gore the God Butcher along the wall. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one that Jack kind of looked at, kind of funny, like, huh?
Yep. There's also another Marvel character that they brought in, very subtle, but when they were showing all of the old monsters being killed and everything about the Bloodstone, you can actually see Sasquatch.
Yep.
And if you don't know who Sasquatch is, shame on you. Go read Alpha Flight. But it worked because, it wasn't the actual Sasquatch that we know of. It was a Sasquatch. But the way that he's drawn is exactly the way he was drawn in Alpha Flight comics. So that is a really good tie to not just the X-Men, but the Canadian team of Alpha Flight. So anything's possible.
Right.
Somewhere Over the Rainbow was being played. Very good reference for not just this movie, but for the Wizard of Oz too, because you had your black and white to color. So
Well, and the thing with that was not only was it Somewhere Over the Rainbow being played,
yep,
but it was being played on an old time phonograph.
yep, absolutely.
So I thought that was really cool. And it was the original version of Somewhere Over the Rainbow that was playing. So they stayed time frame relevant with that.
Oh yeah. Oh, hands down. Another one, if you watch while they're in the family crypt, two of the coffins actually have interesting names. One of which is Mika Brandonin Clalea, if I'm saying that right, which references to art director Brandon Clea. And there's another one that says Conway Plug, who is named after Jerry Conway and Mike Plug, who created Man-Thing with what the hell's his name? Holy crap.
Stanley.
Yeah, thank you. Stanley.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why I had a brain fart all of a sudden.
Wow, you brain cramped on Stanley. That would be like Sheldon from Big Bang Theory brain cramping on now I'm brain cramping on him.
Now, Stanley.
The wheelchair guy.
Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking.
You're welcome.
We got it at the same time.
Now, did you notice the soldiers at Bloodstone Manor?
When I saw them, they reminded me of the ones in Loki.
Very good. The Time Variance Authority were all there. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Big ties to Loki. So we know there's going to be a huge effect in the multiverse. The Talking Corpse was phenomenal. Not going to lie.
Yes. Flashbacks to going to Chuck E. Cheese.
Yep. Ted, he's Man-Thing. It's Ted. I mean, come on. How can you go wrong? And they made him very comic book accurate. Very comic book accurate. Which is amazing in and of itself because you're able to do something like that anyway with CGI. And then, of course, the last and not least is the vampires. We've seen them. Just looking at the gallery of all the heads along, everything else, you see vampires there. So we have hopefully a way for the vampires to come into the MCU, and we have Blade, and everything is going to be phenomenal when it comes down to that. So right now, that was Werewolf by Night. So JT, for this special presentation, how many full moons do you give it?
When I went into this,
Yep.
if you think about it, when we did Moon Knight and everything, the best I could do was like, I think a 3 or a 3.5 was the highest score I gave an episode. and I think I gave the series a 3.
Yeah.
Because it just wasn't my thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of went into this with that in the back of my mind.
Okay.
But I also tried to get that frame of thought out of my mind and come into it with an open mind,
Okay.
not knowing what it was going to be.
Sure.
That became very, very easy for me to do as soon as the show started.
Okay.
With, we talked about it the entire show, the old time feel, the black and white, the not having any of the modern items that we have today.
Right.
The whole feel of the entire show was awesome.
Yeah.
It wasn't what I was expecting.
You're welcome.
It was nowhere near what I was expecting. The special effects that they used were very time sensitive, like we talked about. The storyline, I mean, the most, how do I want to, the most advanced thing that they had in this show, Sammy says, well, I'll have to check it out. Sammy, you will truly enjoy
You'll
it,
like
I think.
I think you'll like it.
But the most advanced thing that they had, I'm sorry, go ahead, son.
I said I think he'll like it.
I do too. But the most advanced thing they had was the bomb that they used to blow the wall so that Ted could get out.
Yep.
That was the most advanced thing that they had because it was a timer release thing that he accidentally released early. Which I found funny.
Run!
The way they transitioned back to color, the storyline itself was very, very interesting.
Yes.
I won't say excitedly go into watching another episode, but I wouldn't be, oh God, here we go, like I was when I started this one. I'm gonna have to give this a 4. I'm gonna have to give this 4 full moons.
All right, that's
was
good.
a really, really, really good show, and like I said, the biggest thing to me, was the black and white. I think if they would have done it in color, I would not have enjoyed it nearly as much.
I think I might have to agree with you on that.
So 4 full moons from me.
Nice. You know what? I'm right there with you. 4 full moons. I thought it was really good. I thought it was one of those things that you didn't really need to read up on anything beforehand in order to understand what was going on, because they told you exactly what was happening from start to finish. This is what happened. This is why we're here. Go get it. And then all hell breaks loose. Right. So for me, for an old school monster movie feel, I'm right there with you. I'm going to give it a 4 full moons also, because it was that good. Yeah.
Well, and one of the biggest things for me was the storyline was easy to follow.
Yes, very easy to follow.
Just like with She-Hulk, the storyline in She-Hulk was very easy to follow. Mm-hmm. And when they started to make it complicated in the last episode, Jen was like, no, this is too complicated. These people aren't enjoying it, and changed the whole thing. So that was one of the biggest things, was that the storyline was very easy to follow.
Yep.
For somebody who had no idea that this was based on a freaking comic book.
Yep.
Until the end of the show.
And it worked.
So, it was really enjoyable. And like I said, I would willingly go into watching another episode of something like this.
Yeah. I think it was, and I think it was very well received.
I would say so.
Let me see if I can get something on the critic response here. A 91% approval rating. So it was very well received.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very good show. Very, very good show.
7.6 out of 10.
No doubt.
Based on 95 reviews.
That's
So
not to have a 91% after 95 reviews. That's pretty good.
yeah, no, it's really good. So critics loved it. I liked it. I thought it was a pretty damn good, solid entry and special one-off
Hmm.
for the MCU. And,
Yeah.
and if they do another one, I think that would be great.
Well, and I think it's a good way to get a new character, or a character or two introduced,
Yep.
get them out there for people, and not convolute it into 6, 7, 8 episodes like they did with She-Hulk. And then just do a 1 hour one off that introduces the character, gives you the storyline, and lays it all out like they did on this.
Yep. Oh yeah, absolutely.
So,
So according to this is just what I'm reading. According to the showrunner and director and even Kevin Feige, that the reason they brought this out was to explore a variety of monsters that have existed in the MCU for centuries, such as artwork featured in the special. Furthermore, it was stated that the idea was to have such monsters appear in future projects. Gay also explained the special's ending intentionally left Russell and Bloodstone totally changed and in a space that they did not expect to find themselves in, and felt it was the beginning for their characters but was uncertain if they would return. Kevin Feige said the special would introduce a part of the MCU that would become quite important to its future. So,
interesting.
In the long run, we may potentially see these characters again.
Kind of sounds like it.
Including
You know what I like?
Man Thing.
What I like is the fact that we've actually convinced somebody who hadn't watched it,
To watch it.
didn't want to watch it, to go and watch it.
And I think they should.
And I'm hoping that Sammy will.
So get to it, Sammy. Get watching.
We want your review tomorrow night.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's possible. So that is Werewolf by Night, our special presentation and special review of the podcast for Avenger Pretenders. We are taking next week off. Next week is Halloween. So while JT is giving out candy to the kids in the neighborhood, I will be with my little Jedi trick-or-treating. Collecting candy in my neck of the woods. So with that being said, make sure you tune in tomorrow for the Sully Show at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Accidental Punch TV. And in 2 weeks, hopefully, Carol will have our name for us for our Star Wars TV show podcast. That will also be at the same time slot as Avenger Pretenders. So,
hey, quick tease.
Yes.
Tune in tomorrow night to see JT taste test some beef jerky that was sent to him from Nikaya.
Ooh, are you going to wear your teeth?
Well, I have to wear my teeth. It's beef jerky.
Put those pearly whites in your mouth.
There's a little teaser for you for tomorrow.
Wait a minute. Carol was here the whole time.
Yeah, I said hi to Carol right at the beginning of the show.
No, she never left. She usually has knitting and stuff on Monday.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what's up with that, Carol?
What's up with that? Awesome sauce. All right.
We love you, Carol. We'll see you tomorrow.
She says maybe. Maybe for the name. Hey, you know what? If we got to come up with it ourselves, fine. You know what? I think we'll put everybody up to it tomorrow. We'll see if we can do a poll and see which one would win. Let's do that.
You come up with 3 or 4 different ones, yeah.
I hope your headache goes away and you feel better.
Yes, most definitely. Feel better soon there, Carol.
All right.
Let's do this. You come up with 2 names. I'll come up with 2 names, and we'll put the 4 of them up for a vote tomorrow.
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight for Avenger Pretenders. For JT and myself, I am Sully. We will see you tomorrow for the Sully Show at 8 p.m. Eastern. And I hope everybody has a great week. Fare thee well, folks. Fare thee
Bye-bye.
well.
I gotta head out, Sully.